Today I will be presenting a case summary for King v. Burwell. The outline for the presentation includes an overview of the case, the relevance to healthcare administration, my opinion on the decision, health injustices related to the case, and the presentation will close with the references that were used. The case was argued on May 14th, 2014 in the federal jurisdiction in regard to the eligibility under the Affordable Care Act, which was passed in 2010. Under the Affordable Care Act, states were supposed to set up online insurance exchanges where citizens could compare and purchase reasonably priced health insurance. The Affordable Care Act offered a tax credit to offset the cost of the policies that were purchased through the online exchange from that state. The Affordable Care Act required that minimum coverage was purchased. However, there was a clause that allowed for exemptions if insurance could not be afforded. In this particular case, the plaintiffs were Virginia residents who do not want to purchase insurance, as Virginia did not establish a state-run exchange, but rather relied on a federal exchange. The defendants would be the government, and going back to the facts of the case, those individuals from Virginia would be eligible to a penalty if they did not have insurance under the tax credit, as it was not under the state but rather federally ran. So the main argument for the Virginia residents was that the federal agency's statutory authority and the violation of the Administrative Procedure Act. The residents also argued that they would encounter a financial burden if they were forced to purchase insurance under the tax credit, or if they were made to pay the penalty for not having the minimum coverage required. The residents of Virginia were not asking for financial compensation, but rather an acknowledgement that they should not have to purchase something that they have no intentions of buying, or that they shouldn't have to pay a penalty if it wasn't purchased. All these facts came directly from the original court document. This case is relevant to healthcare administration, which was why I chose this case. It's relevant to healthcare administration because it's related to insurance. I feel like insurance is the backbone to healthcare and can branch off into a multitude of ways surrounding healthcare as a whole. I think that one of the major challenges associated with healthcare administration and healthcare in general is how insurances can dictate how medicine is practiced. And to stem off of that, healthcare is a basic right and should be accessible within the United States for all of its citizens. The case was decided on June 25th, 2015, that users of the Department of Health and Human Services exchanges were eligible to receive their tax credits. The ruling was a 6-3 decision in which the government was in favor due to the finding that the Affordable Care Act provided the credits to individuals who bought from both the federal and the state level exchanges, not just the state. This ruling was monumental in the continuation of the Affordable Care Act, which would allow for more U.S. citizens to obtain health insurance coverage. With that being said, if the decision was flipped and was in favor of the Virginia residents, then millions of citizens would have lost their tax credits. As far as my opinion on the ruling, I would agree with the ruling. As mentioned previously, healthcare is a basic right, and everybody should have access to it. And under this ruling, the health insurance coverage and eligibility was expanded and allowed for a monumental amount of American citizens to be covered for the first time, or for the first time in a while. I think that this case could also be argued in a sense of potential health injustices, depending on financial status and household incomes. Buying off of the exchange could be a financial burden. And then if insurance isn't bought, then there is the burden of having to pay the penalty for not having that minimum coverage. And I think all of those relate to the overall access to care. And when your access to care is limited due to those financial burdens, then a health injustice is present.